All right, back friend on the beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from New Park Brewing, and they are out of West Hartford, Connecticut, and this is their Crane, the 2022 vintage. So this is an Imperial Stout aged in bourbon barrels. It comes in at 13.5% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed. Time of review. This bottle is approximately 20 months old. I'm going to give a huge thanks, shout out once again to a very good friend of mine and viewer of the channel, Rick, for this beer. So huge thanks to him. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies he sent my way, and he sent me a bunch of awesome beer. And this is, unfortunately for me, the final beer of said beer mail that I'm reviewing. So first things first, I want to apologize to Rick for taking so long to get to this one. He did send the aforementioned beer mail to me back in March of 2023. We are now in August of 2024, but he understood that with a lot of the big beers he sent my way in these 500 milliliter bottles, that, are like 13, 14, 15%, that, I can't drink them all down. So yeah, I got to be in the right state of mind. I got to be prepared. I got to be all, prepped for to take something like this down over the course of a day or two. So he totally understood everything, but still, it's been a little bit longer than I anticipated. But at the same time, we're going to finish it up with this. The beer mail he sent my way is absolutely fantastic. So many awesome beers. Did I save the best for last? I have no idea. So this beer specifically, I'm going to try to remember off the top of the dome piece. However, there could be some things that I'm forgetting. So this beer, they simply state it's just an Imperial Stout aged in bourbon barrels, but it's more, way more than that. It's basically a blended bourbon barrel aged Imperial Stout. So they brew a couple different massive Imperial Stouts. They do double mash them, and then they do a long boil to get a nice viscous body on them. Then they lay them down in two separate bourbon barrels. One is Buffalo Trace and the other is Booker. And then they finally blend those two together, and this is what we get. They also have different variants with like other adjuncts they condition them on after they blend the beers. But I got the base one from 2022, and I'm here for it. So I don't know what to expect. I'm pretty sure Rick really enjoyed this one. I did see the Untapped rating for just Crane as a whole, not like the individual years, because they just have it as one. It's like a 4.1, which honestly is, you would think that's a high score, but for something like this, it's a little bit lower. So I don't know. I mean, New Park makes awesome beer, so I can't imagine this not being tasty at the very least. But a 4.1 seems a bit low, but hey, maybe there's an issue with it that I don't know about. So anyway, we're gonna give it a pour here, and that is looking like fucking syrup. It doesn't look as dark as syrup, but like it looks very viscous. I'm gonna try to get a decent pour here as I spill shit everywhere purposely, mind you, purposely spilling it everywhere. I already have a little, I'm ready in my pocket here. But I tried to, really get a crazy pour going on, and I failed miserably. So, yeah, we're going to try to generate a head here with a nice, vigorous swirl here. But I have to, my feeling is that there's probably not a ton of carbonation. Yeah, so, man, there's a lot of condensation. This is right out of my darker beer fridge at 54 degrees Fahrenheit. So by the time I'm reviewing this one and sip it, it's probably, high 50s, because I let it sit out for like 5-10 minutes as I was preparing to do this. That looks awesome. It looks like some kind of Imperial Stout. I was able to swirl up a nice head. Pitch black on camera, more dark brown in person. Hold it up to the light. Yeah, that's more of a dark brown. Little mahogany tinges at the bottom, almost a finger, we'll say a half finger of this super mocha colored head. There are alcohol legs everywhere. There's sheets. It's weird. It's like squiggly lines of sheets all around the glass, but that looks awesome. I really like the look of that, and we're gonna get a nose on it. What the fuck? Wow. What is that? There's something like a lot of brown sugar to begin with. I don't know what I'm smelling. First off, the barrel is fucking pronounced beyond belief. Like, there is a lot of bourbon. It's spicy, it's peppery. A lot of caramel, toffee, oak vanilla. It definitely has that vanillin thing going on. But there's something else I can't put my finger on. Whew. I don't know. There is some nice characteristics from the base beer. There's roasted malt, there's chocolate, there's coffee. You know what? Hang on. I've mentioned this before, and that's maybe what I'm smelling or perceiving when I'm smelling, because I don't think I've ever had anything like that. It's like if you had like bourbon soaked, like a bourbon soaked cherry cordial. So I'm getting a lot of like chocolate, and it's more of like a sweet dark chocolate. There's cherry, there's other dark fruits, like dried dark fruits. With that vanilla and that oak and that bourbon, it's almost like you took some kind of cherry cordial and just like dipped it or like doused it in some kind of bourbon. Or there's like a bourbon drizzle on there or something. That's kind of what it's playing out. I guess I'm thinking more of like a cherry cordial into like a Black Forest cake. Wow, it smells very gnarly. And there is no adjuncts in here. This is just straight Imperial Stout and bourbon barrels blended. There's like a nuttiness. I wouldn't go straight to like marzipan or anything like that, or like a peanut butter, but there's like a little bit of a nuttiness in here. Yeah. And then there's this big earthy, almost like leathery kind of nose. This is maybe a touch of oxidation too. Wow. This smells all over the place. It's, dare I say, not cohesive. It's kind of like disjointed, but it still smells fucking awesome. It's just, there's like things popping in here and there where like all doesn't blend together. I'm saying, you know, bourbon soaked cherry cordial and Black Forest cake and all this nonsense, but it's more disjointed than that. It's like all over the place, but man, does it smell fucking good. It smells intense. It smells rich, decadent. Yeah, I want to get into it. Cheers, everybody. And thanks again, Rick, for all of the beers. It's a bummer I don't have any more, but you drink some fucking awesome stuff, and I can't thank you enough for that awesome beer bell last year. It was fantastic. Cheers, buddy. Oh, I'm glad I said brown sugar. There's a lot of caramelized burnt sugars in this one. Ooh, that's nice. Oh. What is that finish? I guess it sits on my palate. Tiramisu. There's like this coffee, like a coffee dessert on my palate. That's weird. What the fuck? I didn't even really get any coffee in the nose. Bodying this, despite everything they said, double mashed, long boil, it's a bit thin. It's a bit thin from the aspect of this is 13.5%. That's what this is, probably lower to medium side of full body. So it definitely has a heft here. It's not like watery or anything, but it's 13.5%. If you told me this was 10, 10.5, 11, I'd be like, all right, yeah, for sure. 13.5, a little bit thin. Is what it is. The mouthfeel is really nice though. Carbonated enough to let you know, hey, this is a beer. It's an blended bourbon barrel aged Imperial Stout. But it's like mild to moderately carbonated, more approaching the mild side of things, and it has a softness to it. It's smooth. It's not infinitely creamy or anything, but it's soft and it's smooth. Mouthfeel is better than the body, but both are fine. Like, again, I'm nitpicking, and when you get crazy beers like this, they're blended in different barrels and long boils and double mash and this and that, you got to pick it apart, because I could just sit here and be like, oh, this is fucking delicious, whatever. I'm not reviewing the beer. I'm not doing what I should be doing, and that's trying to review it properly. But the body's a little bit lackluster for what a 13.5% barrel-aged Imperial Stout should be, and the mouthfeel, I think, is pretty nice. The taste, this is one of those beers where I'm not going to be front of the palate, mid palate, back palate. This is just like all over the place, so bear with me. Bourbon soaked, cherry cordial, yes. Black Forest cake, yes. This has an unmistakable, to me, chocolate covered cherry vibe to it, or chocolate cherry vibe. So Black Forest cake, cherry cordial makes sense. The bourbon is intertwined with everything. So when I say, bourbon soaked cherry cordial, I think that makes sense to me anyway. The finish, however, has this pronounced coffee character, probably coming from the base malt, because there is no coffee in here as far as I know. And it's giving me tiramisu vibes. It's almost giving me like a Like, I don't picture other coffee desserts. It just has a coffee sweetness to it on the finish. The chocolate is very pronounced in this one. Caramelized sugars, burnt sugars. So brown sugar, caramel toffee, accentuating everything else that's happening. The bourbon itself is, again, peppery, spicy, caramel for sure. It's almost a little bit of citrus in here, believe it or not, which is kind of different for me. But it also has that vanillin thing. So the vanilla and the oak combining. And the finish of this one really, with that tiramisu coffee kind of pastry-esque feel, is nice because the finish is quite dry. It has that oak tannin dryness that I get with a lot of barrel-aged beers. It's like a moderate oak tannin dryness. Mild bitterness as a whole. The alcohol, on the palate, I can't, like, I'm not telling you it's 13.5%. I'm going to tell you it's 10, 11%. So it hides it well in the palate. Fucking my chest is on fire though. It's burning up. The fuck was that now? I just got something completely different. Let me go back in. So I was talking about like caramelized sugars and the vanilla oak stuff. I'm getting those bullseye candy. So the caramel with the vanilla, 100%. I haven't said that in a while. I'm definitely getting it here. This is an extremely complex fucking mindfuck of a beer, but in a great way. But it's not cohesive. Like I said earlier, it's not cohesive. It's disjointed. It's all, every time I go back for a sip, there's something different. But just because I'm saying that doesn't mean it's a bad beer. Like, I love when beers come together and like it's very put together as a whole on your palate. This is not, but it's still fucking delicious. Like 4.1, I like whoever's rating this a 4.1. I guess maybe the body is kind of bothering them in the fact that it's a little bit disjointed. I don't know. Maybe fresher, it was a little bit more harsh. I don't know. This is 20 months old and it's drinking extremely well. Is this like the best blended bourbon barrel aged imperial stout I've ever had? No. It's not. Rick has sent me better beers in the beer mail that I've had, but this is still really nice. This is actually delicious. And as I said, I'm going back and every single time there's something different. I need to stop because I'm going to have like 7,000 different tasting notes. What I just got was like a cherry cola, cherry Coke. Which might sound bad, but I fucking love to. Listen, I love cherry Coke. I love soda pop. You know, I typically drink zero sugar stuff nowadays, so, you know, whatever. But like, when I was younger, I'd fuck up some cherry Coke. That's why I like Dr. Pepper. 23 different flavors. Cherry is one of the primary flavors in that. And yeah, anyway, I need to just settle down before this review's fucking 35 minutes long. Pour a little bit more in here because I'm gonna drink probably like that tonight, and I'm gonna save the rest for tomorrow. But yeah, let's do a rating. Crane, the 2022 vintage from New Park. It was really fucking good. I cannot stress that enough how good this is. It's different, but I fucking like it a lot. So I'm going to give this a low 4.5 and go 4.45. I think that's a fair rating for what's in my glass and what I'm drinking. A 4.45. Like, I don't know what this was like fresh. I could have if I drank it right away, but I'm a fucking idiot, so I didn't. Yeah, this is so fucking, this is like one of the more complex beers I've had in a long time. But because it doesn't work together, like it's not, again, very put together, cohesive. It's kind of a little bit disjointed. It's kind of weird because I'm going back for each sip and I'm like, oh, I'm getting this, I'm getting that. And that rarely happens to me. Yet here we are. And it is what it is. So yeah, 4.45 out of 5. This is awesome. Thank you very much, Rick, for everything. But these fucking huge barrel-aged beers from them and Fox Farm were just killer. Price point availability, I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Rick, but I think he says $16 a bottle. Again, this is a 16.9 fluid ounce bottle, 500 milliliter, and it's a less than $1 an ounce. Yes. 4.45, yes. It's fucking great. And then the availability, I think these were brewery only. So you got to be in West Hartford. If it makes it outside of New Park, I'm sure it's still in Connecticut. This is no longer available, this specific vintage, but I think they released this towards the end of the year. So the 2024 crane should be coming in the next 3 months or so, 3-4 months by December. Let me just do one more sip, make sure that my locked-in rating is appropriate. Yeah, now I'm getting a spice. I'm getting like I talked about like spicy peppery bourbon, but now I'm getting like almost like a cinnamon-esque or like an allspice or something. I don't know. Maybe my palate's fucking broken and we're just, I'm talking out my ass like I usually do. Thanks again to Rick. If you've had this one before, any prior vintage or this specific vintage, post in the comment section, let me know. This is a fun fucking beer. It's really tasty and it's kind of a mindfuck. Like I said, a lot of things going on with this one, but it's a delicious beverage. And it's 13.5%. I'm going to drink the rest of this and be feeling good the rest of the night, and then drink the rest of this tomorrow and be feeling even better. So thanks to Rick. Again, Rick, I apologize for not getting to this quicker, but I do appreciate all the beers you sent my way. It was such a cool box of beers. And now I think as far as beer mails go, I only have a couple beers left, and then I have no more beers from beer mails, which means I can, I guess, just go locally and buy some stuff. We'll see. I don't know. Anyway, appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers. Oh yeah, despite this being rich and decadent, it's not like cloying. It's not crazy sweet. It's pretty wild because you got that like drying oak tannin dryness. There's a mild bitterness, but this doesn't ever lean too sweet. Like this is like a proper blended bourbon barrel aged imperial stout where like the sweetness is not an issue. And a lot of times for a 13.5% beer like this, you can't say that. And I just did. So I'm happy with it. Cheers.